During those time periods in 1999, I met Obama. I performed oral sex on Senator Obama.
I did not have a chance to comment on how good the White House looked in rainbow colors.
No, Michelle is a trans.
I'm sorry, she's a what?
A transgender. We all know.
Oh my gosh.
The internet is in shambles once again, and this time it's all because of Malia Ann Obama. That's right, Obama's own daughter is suddenly at the center of the conversation about his sexuality, and this revelation has everyone scrambling to connect the dots. The question is, did she finally spill secrets? Did she confirm the whispers, or is the internet just doing what it does best? Join us as we delve straight into the disturbing details. When you think about one of the longest running speculations ever, you definitely have to consider the topic of Barack Obama's sexuality. Ever since he stepped into the national spotlight, people have been whispering, speculating, and coming up with different stories and theories about him being secretly gay. But at this point, it's no longer just about Obama because his wife, Michelle, and daughter, Malia, have been brought into the conversation. Malia Ann Obama, the eldest daughter, has always been known for her more rebellious, free-spirited nature. Unlike her younger sister, Sasha, who mostly stays out of the spotlight, Malia has made headlines for everything from partying at music festivals to dating the son of a wealthy British banker. And right now, she's making headlines once again this time because of her dad, and the details have us in complete shock. But with the controversial news making the rounds about Barack Obama and his romantic preferences, the question is, where did all of this actually start? And why does it keep coming back even years after he left the White House? Let's break it down. The controversial letters. From the very beginning, Obama has always been one to attract attention, and while this attention has its great sides, there are also the negatives. Over the years, there have been rumors circulating about Obama allegedly living what some call a down-low lifestyle. Now, if you don't know, down low is a term used in black communities for men who are secretly gay or bisexual but publicly maintain relationships with women. While there is no actual proof that the speculations are true, historian David Garrow released some extremely shocking findings that has everyone thinking otherwise. Now, for those who don't know, Garrow isn't some random internet conspiracy theorist. He's actually a Pulitzer Prize winning historian, and he's best known for his work on Martin Luther King Jr. However, he dropped a nearly 1,500 page biography on Obama called Rising Star: The Making of Barack Obama. And let's just say it was messy. This wasn't your typical political biography. It was extensive. Garrow dug deep, and he didn't just focus on Obama's political career. He went all the way back to his college years, his love life, and even his private letters. And that's where things got interesting. He dropped some bombshell claims about Obama's past that got people talking. And when I say talking, I mean really talking. So here's the deal. Garrow claims he got access to a collection of letters Obama wrote to an ex-girlfriend back in the early 1980s. The actual letter wasn't made public in full because it was owned by Obama's ex-girlfriend, Alex McNear, and she refused to let him copy it, and instead it had to be read while taking notes. The one part of Garrow's claims that really stood out was that Obama allegedly wrote about having fantasies about being intimate with men. Yeah, you heard that right. Now let's be clear, the letter clearly stated that these thoughts were only fantasies and they were never acted upon. However, for someone like Obama, these are still shocking revelations, and it was more than enough to set the internet on fire. For years, people had speculated about Obama's sexuality, but this was the closest thing to an actual admission. And although Obama was writing about his thoughts, that didn't stop people from running with it. To some, this was finally proof that Obama was secretly attracted to men, but chose to hide it for political reasons. Of course, some folks immediately brushed it off as a young guy writing personal letters. However, others began questioning whether there's more to Obama's past than he ever let on. And then there were the conspiracy theorists. Oh boy, they loved this one. Some people came up with pretty wild claims about not just Obama, but his family and political career that have floated around for years. You see, Garrow's book also painted a picture of Obama as someone who is extremely calculating about his personal life. According to Garrow, Obama was obsessed with controlling his image and knew from a young age that he wanted to be president. Now that meant that right from the start, he carefully shaped how people saw him even in his romantic relationships. One of the most interesting parts of the book was the claim that Obama proposed to a white woman before Michelle, but ended things because he knew marrying a black woman would be more politically advantageous. Basically, Garrow suggested that Obama was always thinking 5 steps ahead, making choices not just based on love, but on how they would help his career. This idea, combined with the gay fantasy letter, fueled even more speculation. If Obama was willing to mold his personal life for political gain, could he have hidden his true sexuality for the same reason? Well, that's what a lot of people started asking. But Garrow isn't the only one who's come out to say something about Obama's romantic choices. You'll be shocked to find out that there are several claims by different people that all point to this one speculation. The Larry Sinclair saga. One of the earliest sources of these rumors about Obama's romantic choices comes from his time in Chicago. You see, before he became president, before he was even a senator, Obama was a young lawyer and community organizer, making connections in the city's political and social circles. However, there have been whispers and claims that Obama was connected to the underground gay scene in Chicago. Some conspiracy theorists have pointed to places like Man's Country, an old gay bathhouse that was allegedly frequented by powerful men who wanted to keep their private lives under wraps. Now, while there's still no proof or concrete evidence to back up these claims, Larry Sinclair emerged, the guy that really threw gasoline on the fire. If there's one name that always comes up when people talk about the rumors surrounding Obama's sexuality, it's Larry Sinclair. His story is one of the wildest and most persistent claims ever made about the former president. However, it's quite important to understand who Larry Sinclair is. He's not some high-profile journalist, politician, or even a former Obama associate. He's just a random guy, except for the fact that his criminal record is, let's just say, interesting. Sinclair has had a long history of legal trouble, including fraud, forgery, and identity theft. He's been arrested multiple times in different states for scamming people, passing bad checks, and various other financial crimes. Now, while he wouldn't really come across as trustworthy, that didn't stop him from dropping a disturbing claim about Barack Obama in 2008, right in the middle of his historic presidential campaign. Sinclair went public with his allegations in a press conference at the National Press Club in Washington, D.C., claiming that he and Obama had a substance-fueled intimate encounter back in 1999. According to him, they met in Chicago when he was looking for a good time, and that Obama had allegedly introduced himself, and they supposedly ended up in a limousine where they proceeded to make use of illicit substances. But that's not all. Sinclair claimed that he and Obama engaged in intimate relations and that they repeated the act the following day. Now keep in mind that there's no actual evidence to back up Sinclair's story. Not a single shred of proof. No photos, no text messages, no phone records, no witnesses, absolutely nothing. However, despite having nothing to back up his claims, Sinclair insisted he was telling the truth, and at the press conference he made it clear that he wasn't making these claims for political reasons, but just as a concerned citizen who wanted the truth out there. The whole event was a mess, and after making his allegations, Sinclair was arrested on an outstanding fraud warrant. Imagine trying to convince the world that a presidential candidate was hiding a secret gay affair, only to get hauled off by police the same day for fraud. Not a great look. Even before the arrest, there were plenty of reasons to doubt him. He had taken a polygraph test to prove his story, and he failed. His supporters later claimed the test was rigged, but that just made him look even less credible. To make matters worse, he couldn't even back up simple details, like the name of the supposed limousine driver who had witnessed everything. There were no police reports, no receipts, and no records of Obama being anywhere near him at the time. Despite all of this, the story has refused to die. Some people immediately dismissed it as a desperate attempt to smear Obama's image. However, others ran with it. And to make matters worse, Sinclair's revelations are not the last of this messy controversy. There's more. The Reggie Love factor. Another name that pops up a lot in these discussions, Reggie Love. Now, if you don't follow politics closely, you might be wondering who the hell is Reggie Love, and why does his name keep popping up in rumors about Obama's sexuality? Well, Reggie Love was more than just an assistant to Obama. He was what's known in political circles as a body man, which is basically the right-hand guy to a politician. Someone who follows them everywhere, takes care of small tasks, and makes sure everything runs smoothly. Reggie Love was constantly by Obama's side, carrying his bags, making sure his schedule was in order, and just generally handling the little things that a busy politician doesn't have time for. And because of that, Reggie became a very familiar face in photos, always a few steps behind Obama, and that's where the speculation started. People who were already invested in the whole idea of Obama hiding something began digging deep and trying to read meaning into their relationship. Let's just say that the fact that Reggie was young, athletic, and good looking also added to the gossip. The two of them were often seen joking around, playing basketball together, and just generally having the kind of easygoing friendship that some people found suspicious. Some people began suggesting that Love was more than just an assistant and that he and Obama were secretly romantically involved. This is where it gets interesting, because if a straight male politician has a male body man, nobody bats an eye. This is a totally normal setup. George Bush had a body man, Bill Clinton had a body man, pretty much every major politician does. However, in Obama's case, the previous rumors about his sexuality made their relationship more suspicious. Then of course there was the time Obama called Reggie my guy in an interview, and that one tiny moment sent the internet into a frenzy. For most people, that term was a totally normal and casual way to refer to a close friend or assistant, but for those who were already convinced there was a secret romance happening behind the scenes, this was the equivalent of a public confession. Of course, Love himself never said anything to suggest that their relationship was anything other than professional, and after leaving his position at the White House, he moved on with his life, wrote a memoir, and got married to a woman, in case you were wondering. But here's where Obama's family members get involved because of all the wild conspiracy theories surrounding this messy controversy. The Michelle Obama saga is probably one of the strangest. Let's get into it. The Michelle Obama saga, unlike the rumors about Barack's sexuality, which at least stem from real people making claims, the speculation about Michelle Obama is completely based on internet gossip and theories. However, somehow it has refused to die down. The core of this saga is the idea that Michelle Obama is not actually a woman and that she was supposedly born as a man and later transitioned. Some people pushing this claim even go as far as saying her real name was Michael before the transformation. But this theory didn't just appear out of nowhere. It started gaining traction thanks to a mix of old videos, out of context comments, and internet detectives analyzing Michelle's body. One of the biggest moments that most people point to is a speech Barack Obama gave where he supposedly accidentally referred to Michelle as Michael. Well, in reality, there's no clear evidence that he actually ever said this. It's one of those things where people hear what they want to hear. But once that clip started circulating, it was more than enough to fuel the theory. Then came the body analysis. Some people started obsessing over Michelle's shoulders, height, and muscle tone, saying she looked too strong to be a biological woman. They compared photos of her to other first ladies, pointing out that her frame was more athletic than theirs. However, it's important to note that Michelle has been open about working out her entire life and was even nicknamed Miche as a kid because she was so sporty. But to people who thought otherwise, this was just proof that Michelle had to be a man and that Obama was well aware of this fact, hence his decision to marry her. Some people went as far as zooming in on certain moments in photos and videos, claiming they saw a bulge in her clothing. Suddenly, the internet was flooded with slowed down clips of Michelle dancing or walking, with people pausing at certain frames, drawing red circles around her pants, and insisting that this was proof that she still had male anatomy. And then there was Joan Rivers' infamous comment. The late comedian, known for her sharp tongue and love of controversy, was once asked about Obama and same-sex marriage, and in typical Joan Rivers fashion she joked, "You know Michelle is a tranny, right? We all know." Although Joan Rivers is one of those comedians who is known for saying outrageous things all the time, some people took her statement as a confession, claiming that she was simply revealing some secret truth that some insiders had always known. Of course, there was zero evidence that she had any real knowledge about Michelle Obama's past. But once she made that joke, it set the internet on fire. And when Rivers tragically passed away a few months later due to complications from a medical procedure, it made things even worse. Some people took it even further, claiming that she had been silenced for exposing the truth, despite the fact that there is no birth record, medical evidence, or testimony from anyone from Michelle's past. This theory continues to spread. And you know what adds fuel to the fire? The Obama's strong support for the queer community. And here's where Malia Obama comes into the picture. The Obamas in the queer community. If there's one thing that always kept the Obama gay rumors alive, it's his strong support for the queer community. While plenty of politicians have championed gay rights, Obama's stance was especially passionate, and for people who are convinced about his secret sexuality, that's more than enough to make them suspicious. You see, when Obama first ran for president in 2008, he wasn't exactly the loudest voice for the queer community and inclusive marriages. Back then, he took the safe, politically cautious stance, saying he believed marriage was between a man and a woman, but that civil unions should be legal. It was a very middle-of-the-road position, the kind that made it clear he wasn't against queer rights, but also wasn't about to push for major change. However, by his second term, everything had changed. Suddenly, Obama became one of the biggest champions for the queer movement. He openly supported inclusive marriages, pushed for more legal protections, and even lit up the White House in rainbow colors after the Supreme Court legalized gay marriage in 2015. This was a huge shift, and as you can already imagine, people began asking questions. For those who already believed the rumors about his romantic life, they claimed that this wasn't just an act of support, it was deeply personal. They also argued that he wasn't just being a progressive president, he was allegedly protecting himself, and that this was a way to hide in plain sight. There was also the fact that Obama didn't just support their legal rights, he made queer community representation a core part of his administration. He appointed multiple openly gay officials, brought drag queens to the White House, and made a point to actively celebrate the culture in a way that most presidents never had. This level of involvement only fueled the whispers that Obama's interest in the community was more than just political. But then Obama revealed something that left everyone in shock. Obama himself admitted that his daughter, Malia, played a big role in shaping his views and support for the queer community. And of course, people immediately started asking, was this just about policy, or was there something deeper going on? Obama made this revelation during an interview where he talked about how his daughters, Malia in particular, had pushed him to be more progressive on social issues. He said that growing up with kids like Malia and her generation exposed him to new perspectives and made him realize that these rights weren't just some political issue, they were personal and urgent for young people. That might sound innocent enough. After all, plenty of parents have their views shaped by their kids. But because this is Obama, this statement didn't just go unnoticed. Instead, it became yet another puzzle piece in the never-ending debate about whether Obama's advocacy was just political or whether it was rooted in his own experiences. You see, Malia has always been one to openly speak out in support of the queer community in general. There have been reports of her attending queer-friendly events and supporting queer artists, and it's no surprise that some people have pointed to this as yet another sign that the Obamas have some deeper connection to the queer world than they're letting on. At the end of the day, though, the rumors surrounding Obama and his sexuality were never going to just fade away. His unapologetic support for gay rights, combined with old speculations and the constant internet gossip, has kept this conversation going for years. And as long as people are still looking for clues, it probably isn't going to stop anytime soon. But what do you think? Is Obama hiding something? Tell us in the comment section below. Don't forget to click on the next video on your screen, like this video, and subscribe to our channel for more updates.